Does it ever feel like the moment your wife said the word divorce, everyone around you suddenly became a marriage expert? Have you ever caught yourself taking advice from someone who's been divorced not once, but twice, and wondering why things kept getting worse? What would happen if the very people you trusted most were actually pushing your wife further out the door without you even realizing it? If any of that hit close to home, stay with me, because what I'm about to share with you could be the difference between saving your marriage or losing it for good. Hi, my name is David Frey, and I'm the founder of MarriageHabit.com and the creator of the High Value Husbands Men's Coaching Program, where I teach husbands how to own up, grow up, and show up so that they can re-attract the love and respect of their wives and save their marriage. Now, if you'd like to learn more about this program, just go to highvaluehusbands.com. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly who you should not be going to for advice when your wife wants a divorce, and more importantly, who you actually should be talking to. Now, this matters because the wrong voice in your ear at the wrong moment can cost you your marriage. And by the end of this video, you'll know which conversations are helping you and which ones are quietly working against you, so you can stop making moves that actually are pushing your wife further away without even knowing it. I'm hoping this hasn't happened to you, but imagine your wife telling you that she wants a divorce, or maybe she says she needs a separation or her space. Your stomach drops, your chest tightens, your mind starts racing 100 miles an hour. And the very next thing you do, almost automatically, is you reach for your phone and you start calling people. Your buddy from work, your brother, your mom, maybe even your dad. Because that's what you do when you're in crisis. You reach for the people who are closest to you. And that instinct makes total sense. But here's what nobody tells you, and this is critical. Not everyone in your corner is actually helping you stay in the fight. Some of the people you trust most are going to give you advice that feels good inside in the moment, but quietly destroys your chances of saving your marriage. And it's not because that they don't love you. It's because they have a bias that you can't see. And they probably can't see it either. So let's talk about the first group you need to be careful with. Your divorced friends. Look, you probably have at least one guy in your life who's been through a divorce. And the moment you tell him what's happening, guess what? He's going to lean back, nod slowly, and say something like, "Man, I've been there. Let me tell you how this goes." And here's the problem with that. His experience is his experience. He saw his marriage through his own lens, with his own wounds, his own blind spots, and his own story. And whether he realizes it or not, he has a cognitive bias toward divorce. And not because he's a bad guy, but because divorce was his outcome. And human beings naturally justify the decisions that they've made. So when he tells you, well, sometimes you just got to let it go, he's not giving you marriage advice. He's giving you permission to do what he did. And you don't need that. You need someone who actually knows how to help you fight for what you have. Now, let's talk about the second group. And this one might surprise you. Your happily married friends. Now, you'd think these guys would be the perfect people to talk to, right? Not necessarily. Because a friend who's never had his marriage on the line has no idea what this kind of pressure feels like. He might tell you, just be more romantic. Take her on a date night. Buy her flowers. Do more work around the house. And he means well, but he's never had to look his wife in the eye after she's emotionally checked out. He's never had to rebuild trust from the ground up. His advice is surface level because his experience is surface level. You need depth right now. You need someone who understands what's actually happening beneath the surface, not someone guessing from the outside. Okay, and here's the third group. And this is the one that can do the most damage, and that's your family. Your mother, especially, your sister, your brother. These are the people who love you the most. And that love is also the problem. The moment you tell your family that your wife wants a divorce, they are automatically going to take your side, period. They're not going to try to be objective. They're going to be loyal to you. And loyalty in a marriage crisis can actually work against you. Because what you need right now isn't someone telling you that you're right. You need someone helping you see where you might be wrong. Your family just can't do that most of the time. Their love for you makes it nearly impossible. And there's another layer to this that's even more dangerous. Whatever you tell your family, they're going to carry that. They're going to hold it against your wife, maybe for years. Even if you save your marriage, even if things get better, there's going to be a dinner, a holiday, or a gathering, and your mom and your brother is going to say something that reminds your wife of the worst season of her marriage. Think hard before you open that door. They carry those negative thoughts in their mind about your wife. Now, let's talk about your wife's family. Do not go there. Now, I know it might seem like a bold move. You might think, if I can just talk to her mom, maybe she'll help me get through to her. Nope. Her family is not neutral. Her mom, her sister, her best friend from college, they're in your wife's corner. And the moment you show up looking desperate, trying to plead your case, you've just handed them all the evidence that they need to confirm that your wife is making the right decision. Her family might also be filling your wife's head with their own advice. And if they believe the problem in your marriage is entirely your fault, which they probably do, because that's the story they've been told, their voices in her ear are going to make your job 100 times harder. You cannot control that, but you can control whether you give them more ammunition. So stay out of her family's conversations. So who should you be talking to? Here's where it turns around. The first person you need in your corner is a marriage coach or a therapist who specializes in marriage reconciliation. Not a general life coach. Not your pastor who's been married for 40 years but has no clinical training. Someone who actually understands the research. Someone trained in approaches like what John and Julie Gottman developed, where they can identify specific patterns in your marriage that are causing disconnection and give you concrete tools to change them. Someone who knows how emotionally focused therapy works. The model developed by Dr. Sue Johnson, which helps partners understand the deeper emotions and needs underneath the conflict. Now, this is the kind of person who can look at what's actually happening in your marriage, not just the surface arguments, and then help you understand your role in the breakdown. That's not comfortable, but it's necessary. The second person you need is a men's coach, and not just any coach, someone who works specifically with men who are fighting for their marriages. Because here's what nobody tells you. Your wife isn't just responding to what you're doing. She's responding to who you are being. And a men's coach can help you identify the habits that have been slowly eroding your wife's attraction and respect for you. Things you probably have no idea you've been doing. High-value husbands don't guess their way through a marriage crisis. They get coaching, they do the work, they make the investment, and they come out the other side as the man that their wife actually wants to come home to. The third conversation you need to have is with yourself. Now, that sounds simple, but most men in crisis are so focused on fixing their wife or fixing the situation that they never stop long enough to do an honest self-assessment. Research from Dr. Terry Real's relational therapy shows that men who struggle in marriage often have a deeply ingrained habit of externalizing or blaming the situation, blaming their wife, blaming stress, instead of taking ownership and looking inward. And as long as you're looking outward, you're missing the one variable you actually have control over, which is you. To do some self-reflection, ask yourself these questions. When was the last time you truly listened to your wife without thinking about what you were going to say next? How often do you find yourself going to other people for advice instead of sitting with your own discomfort and trying to understand what your wife has actually been telling you all along? If you could replay the last 6 months of your marriage like a film, what habits would you see in yourself repeating over and over again? And what would those habits tell you about the husband that you've been for your wife? Don't rush past these questions. Sit with them. The answers are in there. So here's your challenge for this week. And I want you to do this within the next 48 hours. Take an honest look at every person you've ever talked to about your marriage since the crisis started, if you are in a marriage crisis. And ask yourself one question about each one of them. Does this person have the knowledge, the training, and the objectivity? That's a key word, the objectivity, to actually help me become a better husband. And if the answer is no, stop going to them for marriage advice. You can still love them and respect them. You can still lean on them for support, but stop letting their unqualified opinions shape the most important decisions of your life. And then find one qualified person, a marriage therapist, a men's coach, someone with real training, and take one step forward to that conversation today. That's it, one step. That's what a high-value husband does. Thank you for taking the time to invest in your marriage and in yourself, for watching this video, for becoming more educated. Most men won't do what you just did. Most men will keep asking the wrong people for advice and wonder why nothing changes. You're here because you want to do this differently. If you put into action what you've learned in this video, I guarantee that you'll start making moves that actually bring your wife closer instead of just pushing your wife further away. I appreciate you for dedicating your time and your effort for fighting for your marriage. Remember, the quality of your habits determines the quality of your marriage. Have a great day.